On a recent live stream, I went on an angry rant when I found knockoffs of Zombie Tools designs on Temu, and I figured this would be worthwhile talking about in a full video. So, I really, really hate plagiarism. In all its forms, pretty much. Ripping off someone else's work. Just stealing it, running with it, and trying to make money off of that. Some people don't seem to have much of an issue with it. They're just like, oh, well, if it's cheap, I'm going to buy it. But the thing is, if you do that, you're part of the problem. You're supporting this kind of unethical, shitty behavior. It's one thing to take inspiration from something someone else does. We do that all the time. Of course, we're influenced by what we see, and then we might be emulating some of that, whether it be intentionally or subconsciously, because we're, as I said, influenced on some level. Whatever. You might be cherry-picking elements of certain art styles or whatever designs, things you've seen before, and you're like, oh, I like this. I want to kind of incorporate that into my own work, but it's still your own work, and that's the thing, right? There is a gray area. Like with anything, on the extreme ends, it's easy enough to say, okay, this is plagiarism, this is genuine. As you get closer to the middle, it starts to become more and more nebulous, like the same way as, if you want to distinguish when does a long dagger become a short sword, there's some gray area where it's like neither, right? But there are very clear-cut cases like this. They took the Zombie Tools design very clearly and copied it poorly. Strangely, the two I commented on during the stream, the copies of the Decapitan and Xiphos, seem to have vanished from Temu's website. At least I can't find them anymore. Whether or not that has anything to do with the stream and me letting the guys at Zombie Tools know about it, no idea. That's just what I'm seeing. You pieces of Why is that a big deal? Well, because it's like a parasitic relationship with the original creator, and they're skipping over that part, that work being done, and that saves you quite a bit, because this is also something I've pointed out before about the price of Albion swords, right? Some people think, oh, why is it so expensive? I mean, for one, because they're made in a place that has higher labor costs, so the people making the stuff can actually live off of their work, hopefully, right? And then, of course, there's also a lot that goes into the research. If you want to make a really good sword or any kind of other product, there's going to be plenty of preparation. In case of historical reproductions, you have to look into the originals. You have to figure out how were they shaped and how do they work, thickness of the blade and balance, etc., etc. There's so much that goes into it. So much homework you have to do before you even get to start working on it, right? And that's plenty of time that during which you don't get paid for the work you do. And all that research work, I mean, eventually, when you start selling the final product, that factors into the price. But there's a whole lot of preparation where you're not selling anything yet. So by stealing someone else's work, you get to skip that. You go right ahead, you go straight to the manufacturing process or the making process in whatever way, or worse, in case of generative AI, you skip even that. You skip all of that. You've got your industrialized plagiarism machine that just amalgamates a bunch of work that other people have done, spits it out. It's not inspired by anything the way human artists are. I hate when people make that argument. It's nothing like that, not even remotely. AI, and by the way, I'm not trashing AI generally. It has legitimate uses, and it can be ethical if it's sourced ethically, etc., etc. This is not like, I'm not, the old man is like, oh, the new thing, I don't like it, it needs to go away. I don't want to go on a whole rant about AI. That's a different topic. But this is kind of the worst example of that, because then you're ripping off someone's work on a massive scale without even needing to acquire skills at all. Like when A company rips off someone else's design. That's bad. I hate that. But at least they have to make the thing. And if it's too terrible, they're probably not going to succeed with it. I mean, maybe I shouldn't even say that, because if it's cheap enough, people will buy it. But at least you have to actually make it happen. With Gen AI, it's not even the thing. Sure, it takes time to figure out how to do the prompts to get what you want and all of that. You could definitely refine your prompting skills, but that's like getting better at telling a chef how to prepare the meal exactly how you want it, or getting to know your local area really well and learning a bunch of shortcuts to tell your Uber driver how to get to your destination quicker. That still doesn't mean you drove there yourself. You can't pat yourself on the back for driving so well. Anyway, I've always hated knockoffs. The most egregious example by far is straight up copies. I've seen examples of knives where they pushed it to the extreme, like straight up counterfeit. They were imitating the logo, advertising it as a real Benchmade or zero tolerance or whatever it may be for dirt cheap, which of course is the red flag. You know, whenever you see something advertised as a quality brand, a reputable brand, and suddenly it costs like 15% of the regular price, you know that is bullshit, right? But people still fall for it, people still buy it. In fact, I've even seen a business fall for it, where they were reselling knives like that unknowingly, like they didn't realize that those were counterfeits. And then, you know, people, of course, came back and complained about it. It's like, what the hell? This is not the real thing. There's a counterfeit, blah, 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 all kinds of drama. And I despise this kind of thing. I truly do. This is just such a low thing to do. If you want to sell crappy, cheapo stuff, whatever, we're basically the only thing it's got going for it is it's cheap and maybe it looks kind of cool until you take a closer look and realize how poorly made it is and how bad the finish is, etc., etc. It's so scummy because not only is it immensely disrespectful toward the original creator, obviously, it's also disrespectful to the customer, because they're like, yep, we're just going to scam you. We just want your money. We're just going to get some bullshit, some scam. And then it's even disrespectful toward yourself. You have to have no ethics and no self-respect. It's just dirty business all around. And it kind of bothers me that there's not more resentment toward it. Because I've quite often seen people defend it. It's like, yeah, okay, yeah, it's a copy, whatever, but it's cheaper and I can afford it that way. And okay. Like, I get that you're on a tight budget, okay, and you still want cool things, sure, I get it. But you can't. Like, this is just, you're doing yourself a disservice too, because it's not the real thing. It's an insult to everyone involved, and it's gonna be crap. There's so many other cheapo options that are their own designs. You know, they're still going to have the same caveats of, yeah, the material's not going to be as good, edge retention is going to be crap on those kinds of knives and other things. There's going to be problems with it. Of course, you get what you pay for the most part. And yeah, but you don't have to support this kind of shady nonsense. Same as people on social media who profit off of someone else's work. You know, like those streamers who will just sit there and then let someone else's content run without commentary. They just sit there, do absolutely nothing. Sometimes they literally leave and just an empty chair there while someone else's video is playing, and they're not even there. It's just the laziest cash grab you can imagine. It's despicable. I hate it. And that's it. That's the video. There's no deeper meaning than that. This is literally just me going on a rant about something I hate. I made another video before this, and while recording it in the middle of it, I was like, you know what? This is not a good idea. So yeah, admittedly, this is a bit of a low effort video, low hanging fruit and all that, but it is something I feel strongly about, and frankly, I don't have energy for much else today, so I hope it's all right Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't buy counterfeits, or you'll be cursed.